Hello, my name is Preeti and I'm a knitter based in Toronto. Today I have nothing but WIPS. I really don't have any finished objects. Before I jump into it, let me tell you about what I'm wearing. So today I am wearing the Cumulus Genser. It's a Sandnes Garn design, and it's got this whole like lace motif at the top. It's a circular yoke, and then it's just stockinette all the way through. And the pattern suggests using Sandnes Garn Tinline or Sandnes Garn Kids Silk, or their silk mohair. And I'm using like an alpaca yarn that I bought from Etsy. I actually have not worn it out yet because it's super hot here. So like 30 degrees plus. We had a heat wave earlier, and so there's no way I could wear it, and I do feel it on my skin, so I don't know how much wear I'm gonna get out of this, but you never know. If I can find the right shirts to wear underneath, it should work out. But it looks really effective. Like, it looks like, wow, talk about intricate, but really it's not too bad. Okay, so there is kind of a finished object. I went back to my April cardigan, the very first pattern I ever made by Petite Knit, and I modified the button band. So what happened was, when I made this the first time, right when I started, I did a kind of a double purl that ended up giving me this kind of wonky bump, which I cut off. And because it was like kind of this wonky little bump, the neckline was kind of flopping over. It just wasn't sitting properly, whereas the rest of the sweater turned out totally fine, or the cardigan. But because it was flopping funny and it just wasn't working, I had to fix it. So I finally, 2 years later, decided to go back, rip out the ribbed button band that I did, and do a double knit button band. And in addition to doing the double knit button band, which really is so seamless with the rest of the cardigan, while I did that double knit button band, I cut that excess fabric that was there, that was causing this like weird bump and funny looking flap. So I'll put it on for you 1 second. I don't have a before and after for you, but as you can see, it sits properly. It like, there's nothing kind of funny looking about it anymore. And so now I have my April cardigan, the first cardigan I ever made without any help, and my first pattern that I ever made by Petite Knit, which kind of kickstarted everything, is now wearable again. Although it is now the thick of summer, so not so wearable. But when it's summer or it's kind of colder, AC buildings, etc., this sweater is great. And I'm so glad that I was able to fix it, because the last thing you want is to make a bunch of sweaters or garments that you can't wear because there's something that's kind of bugging you about it. So semi-finished object is the April cardigan, well, the repaired version. All right, so let me tell you about the work in progress that I've been showcasing quite a bit these last few episodes, which is the Vivi cardigan by Sari Nordlund. And I'm almost done the body. Ooh. Can you see all the cables? Almost done the body. Here's the back. Oops. Hopefully you can see that. So as you can see, there is this main type of big cable here. Then you've got what I've been calling the funky stitch here. It's not a cable, it's just like an interesting stitch pattern. And then you've got mirrored cables here. And yeah, same thing. And then you've got the reverse stockinette. I hope you can spot, but there was a bit of a wonky cable kind of here-ish. You can probably see it. I did the mistake on both of them I went back and I fixed this, and I thought I hadn't done a good job of fixing it. So I didn't bother fixing the other one, but now that I've seen it grow, it was worth it to go and fix it, but now it's too late. So the reason why I have a mistake there is because this sweater has been started and stopped so many times because, you know, just traveling and things like that. And so when I picked it back up, I lost the groove, or, you know, kind of forgot which direction the cable goes, and I didn't notice that I'd made a mistake. And so, like I said, I went back and I fixed one of them, and then I thought I didn't do a good job of fixing it, so I didn't bother fixing the next one. But now that it's grown, I can see that it was a good idea to go back and fix it. So yeah, so lately, these last few days, I've really been plugging through it because I want to get it done, even though I'm not going to be able to wear this until September, mid-September maybe. It's really hot, and cables, you know, in the summer make 0 sense, but it's really nice, and I think I just don't want a lingering whip. I thought I wouldn't mind kind of letting it, you know, take its time, but I kind of want to, I'm ready to finish it off is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I'm almost done the body. I think I had just one more repeat to go. And then it's a twisted ribbing that she has in the ribbing. And then I got to do the sleeves. I'm just about done my second balls. I only have 2 more balls of the merino and 2 more balls of the kid silk, and I hope that's enough. I'm feeling a bit doubtful, but we'll see, because, you know, I don't think a sleeve is going to take a whole ball of yarn, but I still got to do the double knit button band, and it's just like at the front plackets. The collar part is twisted rib, but as you know, like double knitting just eats up a lot of yarn. So you know what, if I have to go out and buy another ball of yarn, I will, because, you know, it's kind of been a bit of a labor of love, and it doesn't make sense to take a shortcut. And I want the cardigan the same way as it presents in the pattern. So you know what, I'll do it. But yeah, nothing too much to report. It's I mentioned before, very intuitive. I think it's just a stunning design. I think in the fall and the winter, it's gonna look so good. And the kid silk mohair is like the knitting for olives is just such a dream to work with. So I'm really excited to have this and wear it when the time comes. Another knit that I'm really excited about is the Poppy Tee by Petite Knit. And I finally joined under the arms. Let me show you. Can you tell that it's really, really nice? This is using Drops Flora, I think in the color Strawberry. And it's a color that I found at my local yarn store. It's called Romney. It's actually not local anymore, but I haven't seen this color at Wool Warehouse. I can only find it at my local store. So just a heads up in case you were interested in this yarn as well. And I think as of end of June 2025, it is sold out at Romney. So, but I think it comes back in stock every once in a while. Yeah, so this is Drops Flora in the color Strawberry, and I'm making the Poppy Tee. I've joined in the round. It's, I think people have been calling it English tailoring, although I don't see that description on Petite Knit's pattern description, or I missed it, but that's what I've heard people call it. But as you can see, it's just like really, it sits, it's like a sentence sleeve, right? It's like a sewn, it's like you've sewn it in. It's not like your typical raglan sweater. And when I tried it on, it fits so nicely. And I really, 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 really like this construction. And I wish I had actually made this sooner, and it's okay, because now I know this is probably a really good go-to sweater pattern, basic sweater pattern. And it's knit on 3.5 millimeter needles, and Drops Flora is actually a fingering weight yarn. almost a little bit on the heavier side of a fingering weight in my experience, like compared to say Sunday by Sadness Garn or the Knitting for Olive Merino. It's a lot thicker, but it's, you know, still a fingering weight at the end of the day, and that's why it's a little bit gapey, and it doesn't have that second strand that kind of helps fill in the gaps. But this is pre-block, so I'm sure it'll be fine. And I'm really excited about this sweater. I think it's going to be awesome. And like I said, I just joined under the arms and I have tried it on, and now it's that fun part where you're just like knit, 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 knit until you get to the body. And that's usually when it gets a little bit less exciting, when you're just working on the body, because when you're doing increases and interesting stuff, it's so much fun. Oh, let me tell you, there's something about it that feels a bit drop shouldery about it, the way it's constructed, because I don't remember anymore, but you start with like a shoulder at a time, and you are breaking the yarn and you're going back and forth a bit, so it's like a combo of a drop shoulder and a raglan, because the increases that you do to get to the point of joining in the round feel like a raglan, but when you start it, it's a very different construction, where you're doing like this kind of back and forth, you're setting up back, and like I said, you're breaking the yarn and then you're working on the next shoulder. So it's very different. It's nothing like I've ever done before with petite knit. I'm willing to bet that the Maggie cardigan or Maggie vest, or the Maggie series is similar in construction. Ooh, I should make the Maggie cardigan. But yeah, I think it's just such a flattering, like a well-fitting type of construction. And I think when I make it again, which I definitely will, I will use like a fingering plus mohair, just so that I can get a little bit more density, maybe a little bit more wear in like the fall, spring, winter, when it's not too cold. But I think this is gonna be so nice. I almost want to work on it more than the Vivi cardigan, just because this might have a little bit more use in cooler summer days, which are probably rare, but like, you know, AC and things like that, like more wearable right now than a cable cardigan. But you know, whatever gets done first. But yeah, my attention seems to be drawn towards this guy. So yeah, I really, really, really recommend the poppy tee. Is it called poppy tee or poppy? I'll correct myself. I think it's actually called the poppy tee because she made it as a tee, but I'm gonna make it a long sleeve if I have enough yarn. All right, on to the next one. Here is the Cumulus tee O-neck edition that you've also seen before. This is in my recycled Knitting for Olive pure silk in the color Dusty Artichoke, and it's grown, you know, it's grown more than the poppy tee. I took it with me on a trip, just so I can force myself to make more progress. And yeah, you know, I'm just like slightly farther along on this guy, and I'm also kind of not hating this. Yeah, it doesn't look so bad. I'll just drape it like this. You've got, you know, maybe a little bit of wrinkliness because I'm using the ramen noodle recycled yarn from previous projects. So that's why it's kind of a little lumpy and bumpy. But overall, it looks fine. And the Cumulus tee is a raglan. She's got so many types of garments in the Cumulus range. So you've got the Cumulus V-neck. You've got, I think, a Cumulus camisole, which you don't really hear a whole lot about. You've got the Cumulus O-neck, and you've got the Cumulus blouse, which I think also comes in an O-neck and in a V-neck. So you've got, yeah, a few things. And people have said really positive things about the Cumulus blouse, which is knit using kid silk, which I would consider. But right now I'm just plugging away at this, and I think I'm gonna like this. Out of all the projects, my attempts at using this yarn and making it work, I think this is gonna be it. And I think I like it more than the V-neck, only because this yarn is a little bit better for me than the tin silk. The Sandusgarn Tin Line, which I made the Cumulus T V-neck last year. I don't really like the Tin Line. I think it's a really light fingering. It's like really thin, and it's not forgiving. And I used I had a lot of laddering, and now I'm using a circular needle that just goes fully around. Like, I'm not having to do any magic loop or anything like that. So I don't have any laddering anywhere. So I think I just learned from my mistake there, because maybe if I had used this needle for the V-neck, maybe it would have turned out better. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, I'm excited about this. But because it's just like in the round right now, it's not as fun. But it will get there, and I'm pretty sure I will wear this. Like, I feel good about this. Whereas with the other projects I made using this yarn, I was like iffy, like the anchor tee and the camisole. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Not too far, but hopefully by the next time I make a podcast, it will be done. I can, I'm kind of doing it one a month, and I don't have any more trips planned, so you never know, maybe I can really power through this. But anyway, that is the O-neck. So now I'm just trying to figure out what to make next, what to put on the queue, and I was thinking about making the peacock cardigan in here, which I have made before. I made it in like 2 years ago, using a drops merino yarn, which, funny story, I was purchasing the yarn on Amazon thinking that I was getting a good deal, but boy was I not getting a good deal. Don't buy yarn on Amazon. I mean, maybe, but I just think that whatever, I was just getting ripped off. It was ridiculous. But that aside, the cost aside, the merino, extra fine merino, which is a superwash yarn by Drops, did not hold up with the peacock cardigan. I don't know why. I just wasn't even taking pictures because I wasn't even proud of my projects. But it turned out okay after I finished it. But then I decided to wash it after a few wears, and then it got all wonky. Like, it grew ridiculously. It grew like maybe a foot. Like, maybe that's an exaggeration, but it grew a lot. And I couldn't really recover it, and I felt so bummed about it because I was like really excited about it, and I really came to realize that you kind of should stick to the yarn. This might be obvious, but you should kind of stick to the yarn qualities that is recommended in the pattern. And what she recommended was Lynette, who is the designer, recommends merino plus mohair, and I thought I was being smart by using a DK weight yarn so that I didn't need to use a mohair, which was not a bad idea. But because the DK weight yarn was superwash, and it's one of the Drops yarn that just is not the best quality, it didn't work. It just didn't work. And I've heard of people, I saw someone on YouTube who made a Moby sweater by Petite Knit using that same Drops extra fine merino, the superwash, and she also complained that it was like the worst idea, which I can see, because I can't see that yarn holding up cables and it keeping it that shape, because I feel like cables really needs like something with grit. So anyway, I bought a bunch of Drops Flora here in the color, it's a dark gray color, it's called 05, a couple years ago. and I was gonna pair it with the mohair to take another stab at the peacock cardigan, and I'm seeing a bit of a resurgence online of people making it, so I was kind of feeling a little bit inspired a few weeks ago. I am now wondering if that's what I want to make, or if I want to make the Elizabeth blouse by Petite Knit, because that looks like such a good versatile type of sweater. And I have a lot of cardigans. Like, I tend to make cardigans, and I don't think you can have too many cardigans, to be honest, and there's something unique about that one because it's lace, and I have made it before. I know the pattern. I know that there's a bit of a glitch in the first size. At least I vaguely remember it, and I've heard people talk about it. And it was my first time making a lace pattern, one of the first times making a lace kind of cardigan. And I remember feeling very confused, and the designer did respond to me. Like, I asked her a question about the pattern, and she responded, and I do remember that. And I also remember having a question, but I didn't feel like it was something I could ask by email. It was too complex. I needed to kind of show my problem. So I went to a local yarn store, and the person working there helped me work through it. And I thought that was so great that you can, like, the community of knitting online or in person, people want to help. And so I thought that was so cool that that person who was working there was so helpful to me to work through that issue. So, but anyway, long story short, that cardigan has some memories, good memories, and well, the bad memory is that it didn't work out because of the yarn, but I want to remake it. So that's that. But I'm also really toying with the idea of the Elizabeth blouse, because I feel like that is just such a classic sweater. And in making the poppy tee, I've been feeling like these classic type of patterns are just, they're classic. And I just think that, like, to have them, you can't go wrong. So maybe I want to make the Elizabeth tee, but then, I mean, Elizabeth blouse, but then I was thinking, well, why don't I just make both? But I don't have that much time to knit both. And I don't know about you, but with the heat, you just don't really, well, when you're outside, I mean, you're just spending more time outside, you're more time traveling, maybe doing other things. So anyway, long story short, I'm trying to decide between the peacock cardigan and the Elizabeth blouse. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you would use this dark gray yarn plus its matching mohair to make the peacock cardigan or the Elizabeth blouse. And I will take your suggestions and let you know what I decide to do in about a month or so. That's about it for my update today. Really short and sweet. I hope you're enjoying the summer. I hope you're enjoying whatever you're knitting on, and I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.